Hi, I'm Aaron and I'm in the kitchen, and today I am making the most moist hummingbird cake. This is a recipe that originates in Jamaica, but you can find this in Southern households all over the US of A, and I'm going to show you my version. Okay, just like with the banana cake or a banana bread, we are starting off with super ripe bananas. This wouldn't be nice to eat. However, if you bake this is going to be really good. And if you have fresh bananas and you don't have like super duper ripe bananas, you can put these in the oven 175 for about 10 minutes and the whole thing will be black and soft and mushy, and it'll be the perfect texture to bake with. Okay, so for my hummingbird cake, I'm using 5 bananas. And I'm gonna mash them all up with the potato ricer here. And by the way, today's recipe is going to be made and mixed entirely by hand. And we want to mix this until it is just combined and no more than that, with no lumps of flour. I am using a spatula today. I'm not even using a hand mixer. So really mixing just until it's mixed. Going in with 227 grams of crushed pineapples with the juice included. And I'm just gonna use the potato ricer to mash everything up and get those 2 wet ingredients to become friends and to get incorporated with each other before I move on to the dry ingredients and my scale. Granted, it really doesn't matter the order that you put everything in. Today I'm starting with the wet, but you could put the dry in first and then do the wet. But I wanted to mash up my bananas, so it just made sense to do wet first. Going in with 3 cups of AP flour, or 300 grams of AP flour. Let me make sure, 360 grams of AP flour. When you're baking, you always want to use the scale because it gives you the most accurate measurements and you get the same result every time. All right, 360 AP flour into our mixing bowl. Going in with 5 grams of baking soda. And I'm going in with 3 grams of baking powder. Going in with 1 teaspoon of sea salt. Going in with a teaspoon of cinnamon. That's 2 teaspoons. And going in with 1 teaspoon of ginger powder. To me, this is one of the quintessential spring cakes that gives you the freshness of spring with the pineapple, but still the warm comfort. That's my oven preheating. By the way, you can preheat your oven to 175. But this is the quintessential spring cake to me, giving you the warmth from the cinnamon and the ginger and the bananas coming together, but also giving you the freshness from the pineapple. It's a perfect mixture for that cold, warm weather. Perfect for this. Zeroing out our scale, going in with 200 grams of granulated sugar. And 210 grams of brown sugar. I'm not super duper worried about my rocks of brown sugar in here because I have oil and egg, so it's enough moisture to break this down. All right, going in with 350 grams of vegetable oil, pre-measured in my cup. and 3 unborn chickens. And at this point, we are almost done with our scale. Going in with walnuts today, the 115 grams of walnuts, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Today I am using vanilla paste. You can use extract if you like. Okay, we are done with our scale. You never want to mix any of your mixtures on your scale. When your scale is done, you turn it off and put it back. If you mix something heavy on your scale, you can really throw your scale out of equilibrium and it will totally be off. You might as well throw the scale in the trash at that point. Okay, and like I said, I am mixing this entire thing by hand. We're just gonna mix it until it is just mixed. And we're gonna pop this bad boy in the oven. If you are an avid viewer of the channel, I know you're probably asking yourself, where is the maple syrup? Aaron puts maple syrup in everything, and you are not wrong. But today I'm either gonna make a change or I'm gonna put the vanilla in another place. Not vanilla, maple syrup. Did I say vanilla? I said vanilla, maple syrup. I said maple syrup, I said vanilla. I'm gonna put the vanilla in another place. Okay, our cake is just mixed enough. I have these 8-inch silicone molds and I'm gonna try them because they're really thin and really shallow. And I'm gonna split my cake up into these and see what happens, because I have recently had several cakes crack on me and I just don't want to deal with that anymore. Not today. So silicone molds it is. Let's see what happens. Let's see if it's good or bad. This could be a phenomenal new discovery or a very bad mistake. Let's see. Still gonna do my due diligence and spray my molds with non-stick spray, but I will not be using cake strips today. For the most accurate and even baking results, we're using a scale to try to make sure that each one of our cake tins has the same amount of batter in it. Let's see. Okay, that has 464. Okay, and then our last one, we have 658. I'm such an amateur. Usually I taste it, y'all, before I put it in the thing. I have company coming over tomorrow, so this cake is actually for them. So this is kind of part 1 of this, because you'll see me decorating the cake and things tomorrow. But on the menu, I'm making my fried chicken. I'm making some sweet potato souffle. Let me know if you want to see that recipe. And I'm gonna do some roasted broccoli, but seasoned. Remember, season your food, y'all. All right, my cakes are in the oven. I'm super duper excited about this. Okay, I'm gonna start that over. It is the next day, and I am starting off breaking all of the culinary rules you've probably ever heard involving baking, and I'm using ice cold butter and ice cold cream cheese. Why am I using ice cold butter and ice cold cream cheese? Because cream cheese frosting tends to be very slack and very loose. And I'm hoping that if I use cold butter and cold cream cheese, that I can make the frosting stay more solid. So I just pulled these out of the refrigerator and I'm using them ice cold. I'm going in with 340 grams of butter. That would be 3 sticks of American butter if you're in the States, and that will be 1 brick of European butter plus half that brick if you're in Europe. Going in with 2 blocks of Philadelphia cream cheese. I couldn't find the little package block, but for my measurements, I'm using 250 grams of Philadelphia for this. One of the reasons why cream cheese frosting is so slack is because cream cheese is more like heavy cream than it is like butter. Cream cheese is 75% water. So of course you mix water with butter, water and fat don't want to mix, and it stays super duper slack. But you might be asking yourself, why did I add butter? I added butter because butter is going to keep the frosting solid, and keeping it cold and adding in butter, that's what we want to keep a solid texture for this cream cheese frosting. I'm going in with 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Vanilla is one of those things that I really do think you can measure with your heart. And I'm going to use my hand mixer today and get my butter and my cream cheese all mixed together. Woo. Woo. Turn that off. Technical difficulties here. All right. I'm gonna beat and mix. Don't want to do that with my spatula just yet. All right, because everything is cold, like I already thought, it's not gonna be slack, which is great. Not bothered by that at all. It is gonna take a second to mix this because it's cold. All right, now we have everything all mixed in together here, but this is looking very, very yellow for me. I'm gonna taste this because I'm debating on whether or not I'm gonna add more cream cheese. I do like the texture, but I feel like I wanna add more cream cheese today because the cake isn't super duper sweet. And I want that creamy, sweet element to really come from the frosting, so I'm adding more cream cheese. And again, this is ice cold cream cheese straight out of the fridge. Because we are using a cream cheese frosting, this cake is going to have to live in the fridge. All right, now we're gonna start mixing in our sugar. I have 723 grams of sugar here. Let's see how much of this I actually use. Because we're working with cold ingredients, I may not need as much sugar. The sugar, the powdered sugar being used in this, by the way, is to help to keep the structure. But I already like the structure, so let's see how much of this I actually use. Okay, so this is with half of the sugar in, and we're already starting to get to a nice texture here. Still have some lumps in from the butter, but I'm gonna keep mixing. I'm gonna turn up the speed of my mixer and see what I like. Giving it a taste to see about the sugar level. Oh, but I still have some unmixed nonsense on the side of my bowl here. That I really need to get incorporated in here. I do already like the flavor of this. This is the texture that we're working with. Still have some lumps of butter in here, and I think I want to nuke this in the microwave for like 15 seconds. Okay, I'm gonna transfer bowls. I just realized I can't put a middle bowl in the microwave. I'm gonna transfer bowls and then pop this into the microwave for about 15 seconds because I need my butter to melt a little bit more. Now, am I regretting at this point that I decided to use ice cold butter and ice cold cream cheese? Absolutely not. Because I'm loving this texture and it's really nice and thick. Being totally mindful that I don't want for my cream cheese frosting to melt or to be too warm. I just want the butter to soften a bit more. Just letting it mix a little bit more here. I think my texture is gonna be right this time. Just gonna stay in this bowl here. All right. Mr. Cameraman thinks I should add more sugar, so I'm gonna add more sugar. You know what, I only have this little bit here, but I'm gonna taste it before I just go crazy and add all of it. The sugar is also changing the texture of my butter. Oh, the consistency of that, can you see? It's really something pretty. This is the consistency that you want from a cream cheese frosting. Oh yeah, now the consistency is right, okay. I was trying to be stingy with the sugar, but you know. Okay, so I ended up going ahead and adding the rest of the sugar in. I was gonna be really impressed if I could do this at like 400 grams of sugar, powdered sugar. But the texture of that that's right. And this would be really good on a cinnamon roll too, by the way. Let me know if you guys want to see a cinnamon roll recipe. I'm itching to do some kind of Cinnabon copycat. I flung some frosting all over, but that's all right. Woo! Yeah, that's really, all right. So my silicone molds actually worked out really, really well yesterday when I baked these, and I got the perfect size for layering, but the middle of it did stick on all 3 of my layers. So I have a little bit of I had some snacking cake, but oh God, it smells so good. Had a little bit of snacking cake. I am laying down a sheet of parchment paper here because I'm going to transfer this over to another cake stand once I am done with it on here. All right, we're getting another spatula here so we can lay this all down and just scooping a nice little bit here for this layer and using our cake spatula to smooth it all out here. I like a generous amount of frosting in between my layers, so I am going to go in with another spoonful here. And I have plenty of frosting today, so that might be too much, but let's see. Yeah, slightly too much there. Or was it? Going on top here with our next cake layer. Ah, I'm so excited. Woo, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good, I already know. Just, okay, just hold this. With cream cheese frosting, you have to really resist the urge to be a perfectionist. And actually, this would look really nice as a naked cake, but I am frosting the whole thing. I am so excited to start working on summer desserts and sharing those recipes with you guys. Summer desserts, to me, that means fruit. And that means banana puddings, that means cobblers, that means all of the good stuff. And I am super duper excited to start working on that. Going in with 3 scoops here on the top. Maybe I'll need 4 for the whole cake. Let's see. I was debating whether or not I was gonna put some nuts on the outside of the cake, but there are already enough nuts inside of the cake. And this is not a walnut cake. This is a hummingbird cake. So I think I'm gonna leave the outside of the cake pretty naked here, just because I want it to swoop down. This is also fun for me because as I'm showing you guys my recipes, I'm also learning more about cooking and learning more about how to do well with presentation. More. The good thing about this frosting, do not worry if you have a lot left over, because this can keep in the freezer for a month. You can keep it in the fridge for a week, but it keeps in the fridge for a month. So don't worry if you have extra. Doing a small little dollop here to get that to cascade down, maybe. Yeah, there we go. To get it to cascade down here. Gonna try to do a little swirl on the cake here. That's totally not working. So let's go with some rustic swoops. Here we are. There we go. I think the cameraman and I are gonna have a little bit of a taste test here, and then I'm going to put this in the fridge because I am hosting dinner tonight and I cannot wait for my guests to try this. But you never want to serve something to someone that you have not tried. So we're gonna try this cake. Ugh. Oh goodness. Trying to cut a piece of cake off in the turntable. I could literally cry. Like, it's so good. Oh my God. And the frosting pairs so well with that. Y'all, this is a must try. Must try. I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.